who really threatens democracy and the media in Slovenia. Verbal and physical attacks on journalists took place in Slovenia by and large during the left-leaning governments. On 28th of February 2001, the grimmest attack on a Slovenian journalist took place. Miro Petek, a reporter for the Večer newspaper, was attacked with a baseball bat on his home backyard. Petek lay unconscious in a large puddle of blood and barely survived. Suffering more than 20 fractures on his head, the attack not only left permanent psychological but also physical consequences. The subsequent police investigation lasted for 2.5 years, and the perpetrators were acquitted in court proceedings. In 2009, the director of the Slovenian press agency, Bojan Veselinović, terminated the employment of Borut Meško, who was suffering from a late-stage cancer disease. On 30th of September 2014, the security guard of the Prime Minister Miro Cerar was offensive, inappropriate and crude towards the journalists from Slovenian National Television, Slovenian Press Agency, as well as Planet TV. On October 3rd, 2019, security guard of the Prime Minister Marjan Šarec physically assaulted a Nova 24 TV journalist because she was asking the Prime Minister unpleasant questions. On 27th of July 2018, Rok Žalbi, an ISIS militant, and his father attacked the journalist and cameraman from Planet TV.
Hočete te spukniti polagati? Ne, ni treba. Pa pa sam pejš. Sam? Pejš? A boste varno to? Sam pejš, speljta se. Jasno? Aj prav. Bešta? Varite se z novinarjem. Nimate pravice s tem. Če ne dovolj, na javne površine lahko nimaš pa ti kamere, kaj brati. Jasno. Pa snimaš! Hej! Mater novinarsko pizdo! Hej! Au! A ti lepo povedal? Zgini skaj! Nosi! Nosi! Zgin! Nosi! Hej! Jaz sem! Pa imaš kaj iskat? Jaz sem zgin! Se greva! Pizda vam materna novinarska! Zgin!
Mr. Žalbi's cousin is a vice president of the Marjan Šarec political party. On October 16th, 2020, Zlatan Čodrić, otherwise known as rapper Zlatko, attacked the Nova 24 TV cameraman in an attempt to steal his camera.
Dal napoved Boris, ki ne zna dva stavka normalno sestaviti, da gre snemat in najdeš enega Zlatkota, ki se bori tudi za tebe.
On 5th of November 2020, one of the protesters attacked the photographer Borut Živulović and knocked him over. When he lay unconscious, the perpetrator also kicked him in the head, causing several injuries, which had to be treated in the University Medical Center in Ljubljana. Chauvinism, sexism, racism are a part of the discourse. In 2015, when asked to comment on Patria affair, the former president of the Republic of Slovenia, Milan Kučan, asked the Pop TV journalist Vera Lajic if she was married. When she said no, he advised her to work on it. Shortly after the incident, Vera left Pop TV without revealing the reasons. Also in 2015, the longtime host of the popular children's educational show on Slovenian national television, Little Grey Matter, Pavle Ravnohrib, was replaced because he participated in a short movie which advocated in favor of a traditional family. In 2017, the editor of the show Weekly on Slovenian national television, Igor Pirković, resigned after an interview he made with the Croatian nationalist singer Marko Perković Thompson. Pirković was faced with pressure from his journalist colleagues, the ombudsman of viewers' rights, and the general manager of the national television. Due to the same interview, in 2018, Jadranka Rebernik was also dismissed from her position of the editor-in-chief of the Slovenian national television news program. As the Director General Igor Kadunc put it, her response to the interview was not appropriate. Political pressure on journalists. In July 2013, the editor and the host of a popular talk show, The Views in Slovenia, at the Slovenian national television, Uroš Slak and Bojan Traven, were dismissed. This was due to a session where they have analyzed the largest retailer in Slovenia, Mercator. On March 30th, 2010, Kanal A editor-in-chief Bojan Traven's contract was terminated due to an interview he gave for a Slovenian newspaper, where he was critical and overt regarding the pressures coming from the advertisers. On 29th of May 2009, Gregor Golubic, the president of Zares Party and the Minister of Education, attacked the professional integrity of the national TV journalists Matej Kljub and editor Rosvita Pesek. Both of them reported on loans granted by the state-owned NLB Bank to Ultra, a company where Golubic was also an important shareholder through the Dutch subsidiary named Ultrasam. Also, Gregor Golubic, a left-wing politician, was caught dictating an article about the insurance company Vzajemna directly from the office of Bojan Petan, the president of the management board of the newspaper Dnevnik, to Grega Repovž, a journalist at the newspaper Delo. Repovž later became the editor-in-chief of the left-wing weekly Mladina. They make journalist work difficult, close to impossible, and they are silencing them by court proceedings. Social Democrats banned Nova24 TV cameramen coming to their press conference. Prime Minister Marjan Šarec gave instructions that state-owned companies should no longer advertise in particular media. On March 3, 2015, a photographer Jani Božič was sentenced to 5 months probation for taking a photo of the Prime Minister Alenka Bratušek when she was reading through a complimentary message from Peter Kraljic, a director emeritus at McKinsey. They have caused journalists to lose their jobs, and they have made journalists' life difficult. A member of parliament from the Zares party, Cveta Zalokar Oražem, expressed her convictions that it would not hurt if a bad journalist would lose their job. On July 3, 2014, Planet TV fired the journalist Matej Kljub. The reason was the interview he made with Urška Bačovnik Janša, the wife of the imprisoned opposition leader Janez Janša. 3 more journalists were fired from Planet TV at the same time: Živa Rogel, Erik Blatnik, and Gregor Gajšek, who, like Kljub, were all full-time journalists. On February 15, 2020, Delo newspaper fired a journalist on maternity leave, and the award-winning photographer Tomi Lombar. In March 2017, one of the leading reporters at Slovenske novice newspaper, Jadran Vatovec, was fired. Also, Marko Kočevar's cartoons, which for decades embellished the front covers of the newspaper Delo, disappeared. In May 2013, 50 to 60 employees were fired at ProPlus. The next year, this dynamic repeated with 25 journalists losing their jobs. And then this.
Glejte, ljudje spregledajo, ljudje se spremenijo. Imamo enega novinarja, ki je pisal za desne časopise in je danes normalen novinar.
Several journalists have become active politicians, predominantly on the left political spectrum. Hence the question, was their reporting unbiased? For example, Mitja Meršol, editor and Delo newspaper journalist, became a member of the City Council of the city of Ljubljana as a member of Zoran Janković platform, after which he was also elected to the Slovenian parliament as a member of Positive Slovenia political party. Irena Joveva, Slovenian press agency and Pop TV journalist, became a member of the European Parliament for Marjan Šarec's political party, Renew. Mirja Muženič, correspondent of the Slovenian national television from Trieste, was a candidate for the European Parliament for the Liberal Democrats in 2009. Nika Benedict, journalist of national radio, became an advisor in the office of the Prime Minister under Marjan Šarec, Renew. Tamara Vonta, a news anchor at Pop TV, became a member of the Slovenian Parliament for Positive Slovenia. Tanja Fajon, a former correspondent of the Slovenian national television from Brussels, was elected as a member of the European Parliament and later as the president of the Social Democrats. Nusha Baranja, a journalist of national television, became a public relations representative at Marjan Šarec's political party, Renew. Darjan Košir, former editor of Delo newspaper, became the director of the Government Communications Office in a government led by Social Democrats. Boštjan Lajovic, former news anchor at Pop TV, was a director of Government Communications Office as well as a PR advisor to the Minister of Justice, Goran Klemenčič, during the Miro Cerar government. Janez Kocijančič, the first president of the predecessor of the contemporary Social Democrats, also known as the Grey Eminence of the left political parties in Slovenia, was a long-time president of the Slovenian Olympic Committee. Furthermore, he has led the Program Council of the Slovenian National Television for 8 years. Ciril Bašković is a member of the Program Council of the Slovenian National Television since 2014. He has been the president of this Program Council since 2017. Mr. Bašković was the executive secretary of the Central Committee of the Slovenian Communist Party, tasked for propaganda, in a time when the secret police arrested 2 journalists from Mladina weekly newspaper, Janez Janša and David Tasić. The authorities prosecuted them in a military court which was closed to the public. The journalists were sentenced to several years in prison. In 1988, Slovenia was a part of a socialist Yugoslavia, but today it is a member of the European Union. Nevertheless, a big portion of the Slovenian polity still equates journalism with propaganda. Thus, they reward these activist journalists with seats in the national or European Parliament. On the other hand, those few critical voices and media are being suppressed and persecuted. Dejan Karba, a journalist at Delo, became a PR advisor to Social Democrats and also the head of the PR at the Ministry of Education, Science and Sports in a time when the ministry was led by Jernej Pikalo, Social Democrats. Rok Praprotnik, a journalist at Dnevnik newspaper and former vice chairman of the Commission for the Prevention of Corruption, was awarded a high-paying position at the biggest state-owned bank, LIBE. Denis Sarkic, a journalist and a photographer at Vez.si and Mladina, became a strategic communications officer for Social Democrats. Ursula Majcen, longtime sports journalist, became the head of PR and the head of Rudi Medved's office during his term as the Minister for Public Administration, Marjan Šarec's political party, Renew. Jerka Bizil, who was a member of parliament from 1992 through 1996 for Liberal Democrats, became the editor-in-chief of the information program on the Slovenian national television. Mojca Drčar Murko, correspondent for Delo newspaper from Bonn, Rome and Vienna, was elected a member of European Parliament in 2004 on behalf of Liberal Democrats. At the same time, the Slovenian parties on the transitional left are hypocritically pointing towards others, exporting false accusations to Europe, and speak of urbanization of Slovenia.
V parlamentu, ko so tam gospod Milosavljević, gospod Kučić pa predsednica Društva novinarjev to pojasnjevali, me je presunilo, ko so dobili vprašanje potem od poslanke, mislim, da EPP, če lahko strukturo pojasnijo medijskega prostora, da bi lahko oni videli proporcije tega dejanskega vplivanja. In so vsi rekli, da ne morejo nič pojasniti. Pa je to strukturo zelo preprosto pojasniti. V državi imamo recimo 5 dnevnikov. Koliko vpliva ima Madžarska ali pa Janez Janša na teh 5 dnevnikov, lastniško ali pa sicer? Nič, cela nič. Največja medija v državi, ko gre za televizijo, to je pomembno, ko gre za politiko, sta javni RTV in Pop TV. Daleč največja finančno in po vplivu. Koliko vpliva ima madžarski kapital in Janez Janša na ta dva medija? Nič, cela nič. Poglejte, ni pametno na tak način manipulirati recimo Evropskega parlamenta ali pa slovenske javnosti, ker vsi vemo, da ni res. V Sloveniji ima madžarski kapital zelo majhen delež in v tem delu je dobrodošel, ker prispeva k pluralnosti.
So, who is really threatening democracy and the media in Slovenia?